Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown. Well, we're a few days out now from the big Tuesday deadline. Will the Oilers match on Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg, or are they going to be heading to the St. Louis Blues on Tuesday? I imagine this decision goes right till Tuesday. I think the Oilers will take every single last minute they have to come to their decision, to see what kind of different options they have. It's a Saturday. I don't know if any news is going to break over the weekend, leaning one way or the other. I would say probably the consensus out there is that the Oilers are likely to match on Dylan Holloway and let Philip Broberg go. Few people think they'll try and match on both. I still think the Oilers are going to try and find a way to keep both guys. They have the cap space in the summer right now that they can just match on both players and then take some time, figure it out from there. I know they're going over a few different options. They have to be, whether they're trading out Cody Ceci, whether they're trading out Brett Kulak, whether they're trading out both guys, going to go with a short roster, Evander Kane on long-term injured reserve. There's a whole bunch of different things that could happen here. One possible outcome was a possible trade with the Vancouver Canucks that Lego Rocks 99 went over. The idea originally came from Patrick Johnston of the province in Vancouver. His suggestion was possibly the Oilers moving Brett Kulak to the Vancouver Canucks, in return getting Tucker Poolman back. Tucker Poolman is expected to be on the long-term injured reserve all season long. We know the Oilers are likely, or very likely, to need long-term injured reserve space to make all of this work. Evander Kane is expected to start there, but how long he remains on long-term injured reserve is unknown. If the Oilers were to make that trade, bring in Tucker Poolman, they do have someone that is more guaranteed to remain on long-term injured reserve, give them an extra $2.5 million to work with if Evander Kane needs to be activated. In the scenario where Brett Kulak goes to the Vancouver Canucks for Tucker Poolman, the Oilers obviously have to consider many different things there. Do you want to make the Vancouver Canucks better with Brett Kulak? I'm not saying Brett Kulak is an all-star defenseman by any means, but I think he does help the Vancouver Canucks, makes a division rival better. The Oilers do get a player back in Tucker Poolman that helps them in their current cap situation. There's probably a few different teams they could go to for long-term injured reserve relief. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but that could be a route that the Edmonton Oilers could go down. There's nothing official saying they would go that way or anything like that. It's all just speculation. Another thing I wanted to cover in today's video was Brian Lawton's conversation with Bob Stauffer yesterday on Oilers Now. I thought it was an excellent breakdown there. Brian Lawton's always an excellent guest on that show. He says he matches Philip Broberg absolutely 100%. He thinks Philip Broberg's going to be a top four defenseman. Bob Stauffer agrees. Getting a young top four defenseman, even with the $4.5 million price tag for the next 2 years, he feels you can't let Broberg go. He'd be more willing to let Dylan Holloway go. He definitely made some compelling arguments there, but one thing in particular that he mentioned in that interview that I don't think a lot of people are considering, and that is the opinion of Paul Coffey, something we know owner Daryl Cates highly values. We know Jeff Jackson highly values. Don't know how much Stan Bowman values it yet, but Paul Coffey has a very big voice in this organization, and we know he's very high on Philip Broberg. So I haven't heard that discussed a lot, so that was a point that really stood out to me. Does Paul Coffey become one of the deciding factors in how the Oilers manage this situation? I've said right from the start, I think they're going to try and find a way to keep both Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg, but at the end of the day, we know the Oilers, if they have a weakness, it's on the back end. They need to be stronger defensively, and do you really want to give up on a guy like Philip Broberg? We've talked about all week long, Philip Broberg probably wants a fresh start, but at the same time, you can always change players' minds with success. If the Oilers win 2 Stanley Cups for the next 2 seasons, Philip Broberg might be feeling completely different. And no matter what, if the Oilers match that contract, it really doesn't matter how Philip Broberg feels. He's an Edmonton Oiler for the next 2 years. And if it does turn into potentially an even more poisonous relationship, the Oilers can move Philip Broberg next summer after a year has passed. So I don't know how it's all going to go down, guys. Everyone's just giving their best guess right now. Like I said to start the video, I think the consensus is more likely for the Oilers to keep Dylan Holloway, let Philip Broberg walk, but I maintain again, I think the Oilers are going to try and find a way to keep both guys, and I think it's really important, as Brian Lawton noted, to keep in mind what Paul Coffey thinks. I think he has a very highly respected voice within the Edmonton Oilers organization. He runs the defense for this team, and I could see him putting in a huge vote of confidence and his own personal vote in keeping Philip Broberg with this organization. So that's basically all I wanted to cover today, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Who would you keep? Would you let both guys go? What do you think the Edmonton Oilers are going to do? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.